Uh, I hope you have attended this. So, what I was talking about the application of machine learning in self-driving car. You know, in this case, in the last session, I have given an example about Waymo self-driving car, and there they are actually using deep learning techniques to detect what some objects before it. I hope my voice is audible to all of you. Please say yes or no. Yes, okay, thank you. So, deep learning technique is used in machine, means self-driving cars. And one famous example, the self-driving cars by Waymo. Okay, and deep learning techniques in the way that you know about computer visions. Okay, digital image processing techniques. With them, what happens? They try to detect the objects before it. They try to recognize the source and destination. And these are again some machine learning techniques. And one another example is Tesla. Okay, Tesla is again producing some self-driving cars. Similarly, we have Google's self-driving means bicycles. All these are actually using machine learning as a back or technology. Okay, means backend technologies, and they becoming nowadays buzzwords. Then we have Google Translate. This is one more popular example of machine learning. You can recognize this logo. Yeah, suppose you travel to a place which is totally new to you, means you don't know about the language those locals are actually speaking. So what would happen then? And there also the scripts are in different language. Then you will take the help of Google Translate. So this Google's GNMT, that is Google Neural Machine Translation. Google Neural Machine Translation. And this is a neural machine learning that works on thousands of languages and dictionaries using NLP. I hope you all know that NLP. Okay, this is a very famous area of artificial intelligence. Okay, so where we try to teach the machines to understand some your language, actually some different languages, and try to convert into some anothers, try to recognize. Okay, so that is natural language processing, and it is being used to provide the most accurate translation of any sentence or words, since the tones of the words also matters. Tones means how you are speaking actually. In India, even in India, Northeast and the West Bengal's peoples, they used to speak in a different tone. Similarly, North peoples used to speak in a different tone. Similarly, South Indian people used to speak in a different tone. The language, the same language, say English, they will be spoken in different tones. These tones of the word also matter. So that's why it uses techniques like POS tagging, that is part of speech tagging, then NER, that is named entity recognition, chunking. So it is one of the most or best used application of machine learning, because this application is really, I personally feel I am going to need it when I travel to some different parts of the country or some different another country. Suppose you are going to visit China after 1 month, you are going to need this again. And I know that you are not going to do that, isn't it? Okay, that is Google Translate. Then next one is the online video streaming. And one famous example in this case is Netflix. I hope that you all know about Netflix. And this Netflix, with over 100 million subscribers, there is no doubt that this Netflix is the daddy of the online streaming world. Are you agree or not? When I'm comparing with others, then obviously Netflix comes to the first position. So this Netflix speedy rise has all movie industrialists taken aback, forcing them to ask, how on earth could one single website take on Hollywood? So the answer will be what? Machine learning, no doubt. Because Netflix is using machine learning. You know, the Netflix algorithms constantly gather massive amounts of data about the user's activities, like, you know, when you pause while seeing a, while, I mean, enjoying a movie, when you pause, when you rewind, or when you fast forward. So everything is being captured. This data is being captured and is being collected by Netflix algorithm. So what day you watch content like TV shows on weekdays, say movies on weekends, then the date and the time you watch, when you pause and leave content, and if you ever come back, and also ratings given like about 4 million per day, searches about 3 million per day, browsing and scrolling behavior. So all these data being collected by the Netflix algorithm to predict and give you some suggestion about the movies that you might have interest on. Okay, just like the last session example I have given, that today suppose you are watching a movie of Tom Cruise. Next day at the same time you may get a suggestion from Netflix itself automatically that this is another movie of Tom Cruise. What's this? Okay, obviously in that way Netflix is selling its product. So that's why it become the first one on the online video streaming. Okay, so that is one famous example. Then another example is fraud detection. You know, experts predict online credit card fraud to show to a whopping of around $32 billion in 2020. And you know, this amount is more than the profit made by the Coca-Cola and JP Morgan Chase combined. So obviously, we need to worry about this amount that is being frauded. Okay, so fraud detection is one of the most necessary applications of machine learning. And the number of transactions, you know, increased due to plethora of payment channels. Nowadays, we have different ways of paying, like credit, debit cards, smartphones, numerous wallets, UPI, and Maso. And because of these things, actually, because of this increasing number, the fraud is increasing. Okay, at the same time, you know, the criminal amount of criminals have become adept at finding loopholes of these different payment channels. So whenever customer carries out a transaction, the machine learning model thoroughly x-rays their profile and searching for some suspicious patterns. Okay, so in that way, it tried to predict that obviously this person is not of some normal behavior. He might be involved in fraud. Okay, in that way, fraud detection takes place in machine learning. So these are the different applications of means important application, although there are more, but I'm citing these as I'm considering them are important. So now, if you want, I'm going to show you just two simple practical examples. If you want, say yes. If you want, you don't want, then I can skip that. Please respond with yes or no. Well, then I'm going to show it, but it may be not be possible to discuss every line of the code. Okay, so you want to understand more about it, don't forget to contact me directly. I'm going to give my email ID to that group. You can contact me anytime you want to discuss about this. Okay, so what I'm going to show you about, you know, some applications of machine learning, and particularly this clustering. As I told you, clustering is what? A kind of unsupervised learning. So now, first, I'll show you means clustering for what? To group some data. And where I am going to collect some 300 samples of data, that is some random data, and I am going to cluster them into 4 centers or 4 groups. And then I am going to apply the same algorithm in my computer vision area to segment an image. Clear? So for that, I am using this spider. Okay, basically the language that is Python. So this one, you can take a screenshot of this example. See, from I am using some standard libraries here, and basically I am using here sklearn. And this sklearn library of this Python consists of several machine learning algorithms of unsupervised and supervised nature. Okay, so let's run this In case of Spider, you have different option. You can directly run this as I have already compiled this. I have saved this. And the extension here is obviously you all know this PY. PY stands for Python. It's a Python file. Or you can line statement by statement for this option. So let's execute this. So from Matplotlib, I am importing PyPlot to show you some plots of no doubt. Then I'm trying to generate some random data. For that, I am importing this. Then obviously, I'm going to employ k-means clustering algorithm. One of the famous k-means from a famous clustering algorithm. A lot of work already been done, and a lot of work you can also do with respect to this k-means algorithm. Even I have done myself 2 to 3 different research work in this algorithm, and that is obviously mostly used by the researchers throughout the globe. So this is being imported. Now let's collect the 300 samples of data. So let's display it. Okay, so let's plot it now. These are our data. You can see this, isn't it? Now there is no such grouping, no such center currently. So I'm going to cluster them. And for that, let's employ k-means clustering algorithm. And here I'm using 4 number of clusters. So 4 centers will be in there. Center by center, or by the term center, it means that data point which can represent the whole cluster. Okay. And one disadvantage of this k-means algorithm is that you need to determine the number of clusters by yourself. There is no such technique. But obviously, some researchers already developed some techniques to predict this cluster number. I myself have also developed 2 such techniques. Okay, now here I am using elbow method to determine that. Now let's plot it. See, this is the elbow method, and this curve becomes tables after 4. So this determines that number of cluster is 4. Okay. So now I'm going to show this part. See, this is the final output. From this red circle, these are the centers. These are the centers which can represent these groups. Okay, and in this group, whatever the data item belongs, show some different properties to the data items of some other groups. And in this case of k-means clustering algorithm, this homogeneity measure is being decided with the help of distance metric. The center to data points distance and data points to data point distance also can be considered as such one homogeneity. So you have seen that from this sample of data, how I have generated this one. And obviously, this diagram is clearly depicting the nature of the data points, isn't it? So that is one example of k-means clustering algorithm, one example of machine learning to group some sample data. Now, I'm going to employ the same algorithm for a different purpose, that is segmentation. So this is obviously a long program. So for that, I'm going to use OpenCV. OpenCV, you can import using import CV2. Okay, so as array-based array-based computations are done here, so that's why I'm using NumPy, again Matplotlib for the plot. So I am saving the same file, this file as k-means img, because this is the kind of, image segmentation task. So let's execute it then. So I'm executing it. The image I have been providing here is the Lina image, one famous image, actually image test data being used throughout the globe by researchers in this area. You may note it, Lina image. Okay, this is very famous image. Let me show you. Okay. C is Lina. Okay, C is the Lina image. So now I am going to segment this image so that different segments will be done on the basis of the color. Okay, so I'm considering color as the homogeneity criteria here. Okay, clear? So let's do this code. Again, you can take a screenshot of this code so that in future, if you want to know more about that, you can ask me directly. Now, in this session, it is not possible to discuss all these things, but clearly I am showing you the important ones. So let's execute them. Again, I am considering 3 as the cluster number here. Okay. So segmentation is done with the help of k-means clustering algorithm, considering k as 3. Okay. So let's then show this segmented image to you. This is the segmented version of the image. What is the difference you may feel from this image? Obviously, you know from this image, you may have different segments from these different textures, isn't it? So these things are done with the help of this k-means algorithm. And here I'm considering color as the main factor for this segmentation. So this linear image is being successfully segmented with the help of k-means algorithm. Now suppose I want to remove one cluster from here. Means now I am going to remove cluster number 2. After that, I'm going to display it. So let's do it. So when I remove cluster 2, this means, you see, this cluster 2 is being removed. This is being assigned 0, 0, 0. Then I'm going to display the output image. So this is the image I have got after removing this cluster 2. So that is how you can show it. Okay, so this is the original image, this is the segmented image, and this is the cluster 2. Okay, so that is one more application of machine learning in the field of computer vision. And these techniques are nowadays, becoming so buzzwords or so extensively used by different researchers in this field. Like you have seen that already I have cited the self-driving cars, they are using these computer vision techniques. So they become very much popular now. So with this, I'm going to terminate these sessions. I hope you have got all the points that I have discussed in this session. So you can directly respond with either yes or no. If this session means if you find this session interesting, you can type yes, okay, or you can type no. So please respond. So guys, thank you. Thank you for attending this session. So I again say, if you want to know more, you can directly contact me. So obviously, I'm going to give you some materials related to this after this session to your group. So let's terminate this session. Thank you. Thank you all.